Hello and welcome to Meet Our Makers, an artist interview podcast produced in association with Beats Per Minute. I'm your host, Jeremy J. Facette. And on this episode, we get to meet Gay Meat, which is the alias of singer, songwriter, producer, multi-instrumentalist Karl Kuehn. And Karl has just released his debut full-length solo record called Blue Water, which is out now on Skeletal Lighting. But it follows many years in different musical lives that he has led. He has a couple EPs and singles out under this project. He also was a member of the band Museum Mouth. He famously had a brief stint in the band Say Anything, but now he is front and center, and he wrote a record that is really all about his mother and the loss of his mother. So in this chat, thankfully, Karl had no problem being super candid and super generous with our conversation. We get into the sort of beginnings of this record, the ins and outs of this record, especially from a thematic and songwriting standpoint. And we talk about music as healing and music as lighthouse, essentially. So it's a very vulnerable chat, but it is also quite a funny chat. Karl is very funny. If you followed him online at all, you know from his online persona that he is very comedic and loves a joke. And so it was really quite a joy to talk to him, even though a lot of our topic was kind of heavy. And it was just a really lovely conversation about art and music and life and love and family and loss and healing and moving on and what that really looks like. So I thank Karl for the vulnerability, and I thank you for listening. This is me meeting Gay Meat. Well, hey, thanks for coming and hanging out for a little bit.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. How are you doing these days?
As a human being?
Yeah, just in general.
I think I'm doing well.
Okay.
Having just moved to Wisconsin a few months back and not really having, I always am on the hunt for a part-time job because I need the money and also like to have something to do.
Sure.
I've just been doing freelance graphic design work from home, and it is so hard to focus.
Yeah, is it hard to focus because you're at home?
Yes.
Yeah. Why don't you go somewhere?
Well, because up until probably a week or two ago, it was 0 degrees outside here.
I know. I'm wearing a coat in my office here, and it's 50 outside.
Yeah, I'm this is definitely a day where after this, I will go for a walk because the sun is out and it's 40, 50 now.
Yeah.
But I'm that's still cold to me.
It is cold. I mean, you were moving from North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a big weather change.
Yeah. This is year 3 of living in the Midwest, and it never gets any easier to me.
Yeah. I always feel of two minds being in the Northeast because we have crazy seesaw weather. But then I hear about elsewhere and I'm I don't know, I feel okay. We don't get tornadoes, we barely get earthquakes, we might get a blizzard every now and then, but I'm in Connecticut, so I'm not even in Maine. So I don't know, I feel okay about it. Although it is 50 degrees today and that's cold. I'm ready for it to be warm.
I agree with you 100%.
Hence the heat doesn't work in my office, so here I am.
Coldest room in the house.
It really is. Which is so great, for guitars to be sitting in cold rooms. Anyway, so yeah, thanks for coming and hanging out. We are here mostly on the occasion of this debut record. You have your debut full-length LP as Gay Meat. It's called Blue Water. It is out April 24th on Skeletal Lighting. I mean, you've been at this for a minute or two, as we both know. And now we're finally here at this debut album. How is that feeling for you as we kind of gear up for this?
I mean, it feels so unbelievably surreal. It is crazy that the record is coming out. It's crazy it took me so long to make this record. It's crazy that in all technicality, it's been 10 years since I've released a full length. That is so crazy.
Was that a Museum Mouth record?
Yeah, that was Popcorn Fish Guinea Pig.
Okay. So yeah, it's been a long time. And I mean, did you, once this rock started going and like it was announced and everything, did you feel ready?
Yes, I think deep down I knew I was ready.
Yeah.
My boyfriend can attest at every step of the process of, signing the record deal and then like hiring the publicist and like first single going out. Like I've had small mental breakdowns, but
Yeah.
I think that's just by nature of having sat with this for so long.
Yeah. How long has it been done?
Well, the record's only been done for probably like a year and
Okay.
like maybe some change. But like I mean, we started tracking this record in 2019, and
Oh,
like
wow.
in my mind, it's always been done. Like, I've like
Yeah.
always heard these finished versions of the songs. So been
Yeah.
living with this for a long time and kind of always operating as if, I'm like, yeah, I maybe flop now, but I have something incredible coming down the pipeline. And,
Yeah.
a couple years into feeling that way, you're kind of like, wait, am I deluding myself? And then
Yeah.
like 6 years, 7 years into saying that, you're kind of like, okay, I'm out of my mind.
Yeah.
But
Because
now
it's
it's kind
like
of,
you're just waiting for it and it
yes.
keeps coming, but it's not out yet. But
Yes, everyone's like, "You've been saying that for years. You have this incredible thing coming," but now it's like actually
yeah,
finally
they're,
happening.
they're they're at the point where they're like, okay, sure. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, they're like, "There he goes, talking about his record
Yeah,
again."
that record that's coming out. But yeah, it's finally coming out in 2 weeks.
Yes, two
Yes, two
weeks.
weeks. So Blue Water, I mean, you had an EP out a few years ago, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but at least touched on some similar themes.
Yeah,
And obviously, we cannot talk about Blue Water without talking about your mom, which I presume and hope is okay.
absolutely.
Yeah. Otherwise, it'd be like, right.
So there's guitar,
Yeah, I was
and
gonna
then
say there's
there's
some drums.
drums.
Yep. So can you, for those who may not know, can you kind of fill us in on whatever version of the background of this record that you can?
Yeah, absolutely. So in 2018, my mom got sick, and I put air quotes around that because she wasn't like cold sick. She um was admitted to the hospital experiencing or kind of presenting symptoms of stroke, but it
Hmm.
turns out that she was actually suffering from a seizure disorder, and
Hmm.
none of us knew that. And then she had six grand mal seizures in a row while she was in the hospital, and that damaged her brain. So then we
Did
spent
did she
what
know that? Did she know she had?
no, it
Okay.
was my mom, like leading up to this event, my mom was in a pretty bad way. She had been
Okay.
kind of like suffering in the throes of addiction in a way that was pretty visceral, but
Okay.
was getting some treatment for that and was just trying to like fix things. But she
Right.
was in a bad way in like a bigger sense as well, and just kind of as to like where she was in life.
Right.
Um, her like living situation was tough. Uh, she'd experienced like a hip replacement that was kind of botched, and then because of that she like fell and broke her shoulder. She just had like a lot of medical trauma leading up
Yeah.
to this. So but yeah, so she suffered some brain damage, and then we spent 6.5 weeks in two different hospitals kind of trying to figure out how to manage that and kind of find out the extent of the brain damage and just try to figure out what recovery would look like.
Yeah.
And I started writing these songs during that time because I was facing um, a kind of existential crisis of sorts, like
Yeah.
you never expect to get thrown into something this like upending.
Right.
And these songs were definitely how I was processing all that.
Yeah. And so so you said that was in 2019. So
2018. Yeah.
2018. So
Yeah.
what do you remember like what the first one was that you came out of you for
It's funny
this?
you should ask because I actually just had to do some like some excavating to remember this, but hilariously, it's actually the one song that didn't make the record,
Oh,
and it will be coming out later down the
okay.
pipeline after the record's been out for a minute. But
Yeah.
it's a little B-side called Leslie, and it's funny because when you zoom out and you like inventory the like contents of all the songs, like I feel like Leslie paints a like perfect kind of picture of where things were with me and my mom before all this happened. And I just think that's so interesting. Like you can
Yeah.
kind of like see that we were in a bad spot with this little song, and then everything happened with her, and then the rest of the record
Yeah.
came out of it.
Yeah. I mean, the record is it's not like in chronological order, it's not, from 2018 to now. But it would be interesting, even maybe more so in retrospect, to hear a song from the beginning,
Hmm.
once people have sat with the record a bit. Because during the years after her seizures, you were her caretaker essentially.
I became her
Um,
legal guardian, which is like so crazy because I am like allergic
yeah,
to paperwork and I like and so I'm like a mess. I've never had health insurance, like
yeah,
never been one of those girls.
yeah.
But I did it
Um,
for
right.
her.
And I mean, so a lot of these songs are born from a time where you were kind of thrust into this not only frightening experience with this medical stuff with her, but then also a huge responsibility that you were not expecting to have to take, at least not anytime soon.
Yeah.
Um, so that I actually did have a question in my notes about like, well, what was going on before that? Because you from the time you like moved out or whatever you want to call it, um up to this point where you kind of came back to take care of her, I mean, did you have a connection with each other? Did you have like a vital kind of relationship with her, even though maybe it was a little complicated?
Yeah, I mean, my mom and I, we've always we always ebbed and flowed. Like
Yeah.
growing up, obviously, she was the most important person in my entire life, and my parents got divorced when I was like 11, so
Hmm.
she was primary custody. I was obsessed with her. My dad and I were also on like a rocky road, but like my
Yeah,
mom was like the one for so long, and I think pretty naturally as you like grow up and you move out, we just kind of started to like view each other as peers and less like
sure.
a mother son relationship. And then my mom also like, she like got remarried and she like had her own like little life. So we were both kind of on our like parallel paths.
Mm.
But like all throughout museum mouth stuff, she was always very supportive and like so sweet and so funny. And I very briefly moved in with her for a bit to like help her. She bought like a fixer upper with her husband. Her husband passed away at the end of
Okay.
2013. So like for most of 2014, I was living with her, helping her with that.
Mm.
But yeah, we were just definitely on our own like unique paths. But she was always unbelievably like vital to me and
Right.
so funny and like
Yeah.
definitely my rock in trying to navigate the world, no
Yeah.
matter how many hours we were living apart from each other.
Yeah. How long were you in this sort of caretaker position?
So my mom she suffered the brain damage in 2018. She passed in like March of 2018. I think I applied to become her legal guardian sometime in the spring, so probably like April or May. And then my mom passed away in January of 2021.
So almost
So
3 years.
yeah, almost 3 years.
Okay. Um, when you were writing these songs, I mean, you say you were writing with them because you're writing them because it's kind of just how you navigated this and like tried
Mhm.
to stay afloat. I mean, were you even under the impression you were going to make a record of these?
Definitely not for a long time.
Yeah.
I don't think I even realized I had an album's worth of songs until it was like at track 11, I'm
Okay.
like, "Oh, like this is like this could be an album."
Yeah.
Um and then you I think once I realized that I started to kind of meld it into one. There's like a song called My Mother's Son that was like technically a song my friend Becca and I wrote together in 2011 that I was like, oh, if I just like retool lyrics for this, that could be on the record as well. And then it's 12 songs. And then it's
Mm,
like, that's really an album. So
yeah.
it definitely had no intention of starting out being like, I'm going to make this depressing ass album. It just kind of happened that
Yeah.
way.
I mean, were you, once that started happening and you started realizing, well, okay, I'm making a record out of these songs, like, was there a part of you that had hesitation in doing that?
I mean, of course, I feel like I have always been a really honest songwriter, just like writing about my life. It's always at least, I would say a small margin is like 99% autobiographical, like that 1% fiction. Like I'm always
Hmm.
just writing about what I'm thinking and feeling. And, um, that's a mix that leads to mixed results. There are records, there are songs in the Museum Mouth catalog I look back at and I'm like, I wish I wasn't so transparent about everything going on in my life. It'd be like so fun to be mysterious and
Yeah.
not have people mad at you because you're airing your grievances with them
Right.
via 3-minute pop song. But uh but I definitely like, I don't know, when your grief is just so crazy,
Yeah.
just as something you experience in your human life. Like, and it comes for everybody. Everyone's going to experience different levels of grief, but
Mm-hmm.
I definitely worried that this would be alienating. I definitely worried that this would just be kind of something that a lot of people would be hands off with up front
Mm-hmm.
because it's intense. And I don't know. It's like at the same time, I also just don't care because I've
Yeah.
always just made music for me. Like,
Yeah.
Museum Mouth is the most self-serving project of all time. So
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. There's a certain element to like it. Yes, it's dark and yes, it is a sad subject, obviously, but it's overall, it's not like a too down of an album, you know? Like,
yeah,
I'm sure that was important to you that it's not 36 minutes of like moping at the guitar. It's,
yeah,
yes, there are some guitar songs, but like there's energy to there's a lightness to some of it. Like, it's a pop record, it's a pop rock record at
yeah.
most turns. I'm sure that was
Mhm.
important to you.
Yeah, and I also just don't think I could make something like that.
Yeah.
Like artists that live in dirge territory. I love that for them.
Yeah. You're
I've
not
just
Mount Erie.
no, exactly, and I unfortunately never will be.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been joking a lot in this press cycle that it's like I grew up listening to Blink-182. You're never gonna like get that out of me, despite how diverse the palette gets. Like that is at its core in my
Yeah.
foundation. So
Yeah.
yeah, and I appreciate hearing you say that because I do think like lyrically it is sad, but like I mean front to back, yeah, I think it's actually fun to listen to. I can only
Mm.
hope and pray.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to it on a walk yesterday, so it was good walking music.
Love to
Um,
hear that.
but well, I mean, I say this, but then like my favorite song is probably the saddest song, which is Powerball. Um, as I've as I said to you a few weeks ago when you posted that song, like I think it's the best thing you've ever made, and you agreed,
Yeah, and
which I
honestly,
think is great. I think
I
you should
love hearing
agree.
it. Thank you.
I think it's underrated to vouch for yourself.
Oh my
Um,
God. I have since day one, since day dot, I have been my biggest fan. Like, and my cousin is always dunking on me for it. She's just like, you are like the king of self
who
promo.
cares?
And I'm like, no one else is going to do it for me.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it gets misconstrued as just like utter arrogance. And like, yes, there are people who will say something like that and then it's like a shit song, but like it doesn't really matter because like it's the fact that they think it's their best work and like they're so proud of it. And so I think there's really so much value to putting out a song, putting out an album or whatever and saying like, this is the best work I've ever made.
yeah.
I don't
And
know.
I
It feels
also,
good.
I completely agree. And I also think that a lot of the time, if I like, there's something going on with this like concept of kind of like being your own like biggest fan. Like if you read something that I post on twitter.com and it annoys you or I sound arrogant or something like that, I could bet you $1 million it sounds and feels completely different coming from my actual mouth.
Right.
Like the
Yeah.
actual like person behind the account, I think is important. And for a long time when Museum Mouth was touring a lot, I felt really lucky because I felt like the people that followed me online also had met me in person and like they were
Yeah.
aware of that.
Yeah.
But now it's like I'll tweet something like the Powerball is the best song I've ever written and 3 people bookmark it. And I'm like, why are you doing that? Like, we don't need like shady receipts for you to like one day
Yeah.
screenshot this and be like, this guy's so annoying. Because
Yeah.
I don't think I'm annoying. I hope and pray I'm not, but like I'm just talking online like everyone else.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. If Taylor Swift puts out a song and says it's the best thing she's ever done, no one's gonna care.
No, and in fact, that song is gonna have shooters. That song
Right,
is gonna have people being like, "That's her favorite, so it's my favorite." And
right,
I
right.
obviously never want the rabid fan base that looks anything like
No,
that. But
no, who? No.
I think there's like validation in just like being the artist creating the thing and also talking about the thing.
Yeah, and like it does. It just as someone who makes music too, like it feels so good when you hit export on a song and you listen back to it and you're like, wow, that's like really good.
Yeah.
Like it just feels good. And like all those people who, and I've interviewed many of them for the show who like never, ever, ever, ever go back and listen to their music. And like I get it sometimes with like my own stuff, but like, why would I make something I don't want to listen to?
Literally. I've been
Like,
saying that for over a decade. I'm like, I just simply write the songs I want to hear.
right. So like I never post my like Spotify Wrapped because lit majors on there and you know it. And that's so embarrassing. But like, there are just times where I'm like, let me go back and revisit this. And I'm like, either I'm like, okay, yeah, I could have, whatever, done that better. Or I'm like, this is like good. Like, I like this. Like, this is my genre that I enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
And it's your art. Like
right. You
you
should
are
enjoy
the
it.
art. Yeah, the art you make is a byproduct of the art that you also like. So like,
Right.
God forbid the product looked anything like the things that you enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think about that a lot. And uh gosh, I had like a beautiful, beautiful thought that was coming to me about this topic, but now it's simply escaping me. But yeah, that's all,
Okay.
this is all just to say, like, gas yourself up. I don't
Seriously.
care. I'm
It,
gonna do it no matter what.
and people who are not at Taylor Swift's level, like, get told all the time, basically, like, if you don't do it, nobody will. And then when we do it, we get dragged. So whatever. But
Yeah.
anyway, to get back to Powerball, the best song that Karl Kuehn has ever written. It is the only one in the press notes, as it says, that you wrote after your mother's passing. I mean, did you, first of all, did you think before that song, did you think that you were kind of done?
No.
Okay.
No. No.
It wasn't that kind of thing.
It wasn't that kind of thing. It always felt like amorphous. And like what's really incredible about my friends Brett Scott and Alex Thompson, who I made the record with, is that like they're open to anything.
Hmm.
Like, obviously it took us a million years to make this record, but if I would have approached them in 2025 with like 3 months left before we were like done with like a new song, they would have been like, let's do it.
Sure.
Like they're very open to that. So I feel lucky that I've never had to be like, okay, well, I have these 11 songs and the record's 33 minutes. I need to pay for 33 minutes of studio time. Like
Right.
that's never been my deal. And that rocks for me. Love
Yeah.
that for me. But I think the quote about the Powerball being written after my mom passed is like a little misleading because I definitely started it while she was still alive, but like
Okay.
I finished it after she
Okay.
had passed, because that act of like of of growing up like driving over the state lines to like buy lottery tickets was so ingrained in me as just like something small we did, but like hit so hard after she was gone.
Right.
And it was something that I found myself doing all the time just because I was like, I don't know what else to do,
Yeah.
um and I bet of every off of that EP is like also about that. So I kind of like those songs kind of like came together like in tandem. I like finished Powerball and wrote Bet of Every like probably within like the same exact timeline.
Okay.
And it's funny because everything I've put out as Gay Meat up until this point has all been written after this record,
Right.
which is like insane to think about. If you're curious what a follow up to Blue Water is going to sound like, it's going to sound like everything else I've ever put out now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm so grateful for the fact that you love that song. And
Yeah, it is different from the rest of them. There's such a like dreamy sort of like misty kind of quality to that song. The way you sing is even a little different on that song. It's so like reserved, and it's almost like a murmur in a way, like the chorus
mhm.
especially. And in my mind, in my memory, there are strings on that song.
There are
Am I
strings on that
correct?
song.
Okay.
Yes.
I was like, am I inventing these strings in my mind? It's just very, I don't know. It's like one of those things. It's such a specific memory to you, and it's not something everyone will relate to, that specifically, but just, I don't know, that there's such a longing in it, and there's such a kind of a lonesomeness to it, a reaching out to it that
Yeah.
is very moving.
Thank you. I definitely think it's the most like heartbreaking song on the record in the way
Yeah.
that, it is kind of like this metaphor for losing my mom, but like wrapped in this story about losing her senior pets.
Yeah.
Um and I do think that like I do worry that it's so unbelievably specific that it's not relatable, but I mean so much about art is an anecdote, like a movie or a short film is like it's not about you, but you feel something watching it. So I can like only hope and pray that that's the effect the Powerball will have on people.
Yeah. Um, Another touch of the record that I liked was the like recordings you have of her,
Hmm.
which I'm sure some people will be like, more recordings from the
I
artist's
know.
life, but
It's
like,
such a like party emo trick. Like put the voicemail at the end of the song or
yeah,
in the
yeah.
bridge.
But it
But
works. And like, especially that the title track, which is like this little song she sings at the very, very
mhm,
end of the record. When the penultimate song ends, it ends on that hard chord. And I was like,
mhm.
oh, like, power pop ending. And then there's like this 35-second thing that she sings. Um, was that, first of all, what's the story there? I mean, like, is that like a ditty that you wrote, or did she just like sing that off the cuff? Like, what is that?
She made it up all on her own. Like when my mom got into the nursing home after having been in the hospital for weeks, I just started taking so many photos and videos and like
Yeah.
recordings of her because I was just like, during that time she was in the hospital, like her mortality was constantly being brought into question. So I was like,
Right.
I'm just going to document as much of this as I possibly can because I know that one day I'll be so grateful for the fact that I have it. Like,
Yeah.
shout out to Apple for letting me pay for so much storage in the cloud.
Yeah, they let you pay. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was a real
I
chore for
know.
them.
Yeah, they were like, "Okay, fine, if you want to spend money with us,
Okay.
please." But I just had so many photos and videos and recordings of her, and
Yeah.
Brett and I like had talked a lot about what we were going to call the record, and we had like landed on a couple different things. And I think probably like 2022, 2023, I found that recording on my phone, and I was like, "Oh, well, this has to go on the record, and this also has to be the title of the record." So
Yeah. I mean, why does that specifically seem to resonate with you, do you think?
it's so cute, and I feel like it's like
Yeah.
such a perfect like encapsulation of our dynamic too. It's like my mom doing something funny, me trying to like egg her on, her dunking on me. It's just
Yeah.
like the perfect like trifecta of how we functioned as a little unit. And I do think growing up in coastal North Carolina, like being at the beach 5 days a week, 6 days a week, like I don't think I realized how important like water was to me. It's just like a visual kind of like grounding element, like
Yeah.
the whole mantra of like staring out at the sea, you've never felt smaller. I'm like, unfortunately, that's fucking true about me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that resonates with me. So, especially like in my kind of more landlocked Midwestern journey I'm on now, like I find myself like clamoring for being near the water. So,
Are you
um,
anywhere near the
we're on
lakes?
a lake now. We're on a
Okay.
lake now, which is nice.
You're not on a Great
Obviously,
Lake.
no, we're on
Okay.
Lake Winnebago.
Okay. I only know
Um,
about that lake because of Bill Callahan.
Beautiful. I
I would have
love
never
that.
known that existed, but he just put out a record with a song called Lake Winnebago.
Well, I live on Lake Winnebago
There
now.
you
It's
go.
like I can't wait for it to be like nice outside for real and
Mm,
like actually just go explore. When my boyfriend did his first internship in this town, it was like obviously June, July, and I remember getting out of the car and being like, "Oh my god, I hear seagulls! Like this is so nostalgic to
yeah.
me, like so grounding to me to
Yeah.
like be in a place that just sounds like something I already know."
Yeah. You mentioned earlier the grief process and how it will come for all of us at some point if it hasn't already. Um, where are you, do you think, right now?
I feel like I'm in the best place I possibly could be to have to be forced to kind of like talk about this so
Right.
much, which
Right.
I feel like is really like it's a byproduct of how long this has taken to make, but
Hmm.
it's also kind of probably the best way it could have panned out.
Yeah.
I like think about putting out this record. God forbid if we would have finished recording it in 2019 and put it out in 2020 during global pandemic and like pre my mom dying, like
Yeah.
then my mom were to die, like it would just be like such a crazy
Yeah.
thing. I really feel like everything happened the way it needed to happen
Yeah.
with this. And I was joking with Chris Farron, or he was kind of just joking with me, being like, "Are you prepared to talk about your dead mom for the rest of time?" And I was like, honestly, yes. Like,
Yeah.
she was such a legend, and everything that is lovable about me is because of her. So,
Yeah.
um, I don't know. I feel like I'm in a good spot to talk about it, and I'm like willing to talk to anyone about it because it's so impossible to navigate. And like even the tools that you are suggested to read or indulge when you're like experiencing it, like it can only help so much. I think actually talking to people about the way you're feeling
Yeah.
while you're experiencing it is so important.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's really lovely too, like a lovely way to look at it too. Like that maybe it would have been too painful to dig into again and again and again and again if it was 2021,
Mm-hmm.
but it's 2026. And so I feel like maybe hopefully you're at the point where it feels like you get to talk about her,
Yes,
and so like
absolutely.
that's really nice. It was it, maybe, I mean, maybe my internet sleuthing is bad, but isn't it like Andrew Garfield who has that famous clip on like
It's,
Colbert or something talking about his mother and how like he loves talking about her because he loved her so much.
yeah,
And it's so
yeah,
sweet and sad and it's so true. And I just feel like that's kind of a good, seems like a good place to be.
yeah, absolutely. I
Yeah.
think that interview is incredible, and then his appearance on the Anderson Cooper podcast about grief is also just so beautiful, and
Yeah.
um, so much incredible intel comes from listening to that pod
I
alone.
know. I know. Who knew?
I know, and I've always been obsessed with that man. So it's like very cool that he's having this renaissance on like a topic that actually really matters to me.
In a
So,
really potentially very kind of what you were worried about, kind of divisive topic, like off-putting topic, when you're talking about
mhm.
grief and mourning and loss and like how you contend with that. But so much, so many wise things are
Yeah.
said and talked about there. And like, I don't know if it started with this, but I remember listening to his interview with Colbert again, because Colbert is kind of good at talking about grief too.
Hmm.
Um, he lost like a lot of his family, I think, when he was young. I think that's what it was. Um, but like just spurring this thing where we can't be afraid to talk about it.
Yeah.
It can't be taboo. And like,
Hmm.
yeah, you might cry sometimes when you talk about it, but like, what are we gaining from that sort of, walling off or whatever you want to call it? So yeah, I
Totally.
agree. I mean, who expected Anderson Cooper in the 2020s to come out with like this really important, moving
Yeah.
podcast? But
I think that he's someone that like my mom really, I always joke that the mole, the like reality
oh
TV show that
yeah,
the show that he hosted, I always joke that the mole made me gay. Which is not true, but like maybe kind of true.
it's not
And
entirely not
then
true.
yeah, it's not entirely not true. Exactly. Great quote. But I think that he's someone that my mom like very early on, and to me, like knowing him as a public figure was just like he's great. Like he's
Hmm.
had this crazy life. Like he has famous parents and yada yada yada. And I don't. She was just very like. It was always funny to me when my mom like knew the lore on like someone on TV because she was so tapped out on like zeitgeisty
Yeah.
stuff. When she was in the nursing home, she for like right when she got to the nursing home in 2018 was like when the royal wedding was like
Oh,
really a
okay.
thing.
Yeah.
And I remember like watching like just us just sitting like side by side in silence and like watching like something on TV about the royal wedding. I was like, oh my god, are you gonna watch it? She was like, fuck no. And I'm like, I love that.
It's
It
funny.
just yeah, so funny.
Um, so yeah, it sounds like you're in a good spot now. What were some of the things that you think really helped you in the real like thick of it?
I think there's so many things. Like there's just kind of like an endless list. And I don't really feel like I could probably like go around and like nail all of
Sure.
them. But I do think having not even necessarily like a group of friends, but just like having some core people that like had experienced it before me was like an unbelievable like lifeline.
Yeah.
Um being able to talk to like your girls, like the people you tell everything to, the people that like they're your life, like they know all of your secrets. Like for one of those people to kind of that occupies that space to kind of like also have already experienced it, like is just invaluable. And I felt like when it happened to me, I forgot that I was like there for them when it happened to
Mm.
them,
Hmm.
And then you kind of have to like reorient yourself in that friendship to just be like, okay, like I can't feel guilty for like asking so much of you in these moments because you did it to me and I didn't feel anything about it. I was just like happy to provide that service. And
Right.
I do think like guilt and shame is like a big part of grieving because it is something that people for some reason hate to talk about, and so many people don't really know how to navigate it because we don't talk about it. So I
Yeah.
think having someone that you just like like implicitly trust as a like touchstone for you is really important. I was definitely consuming a ton of art about it for a while. I
Yeah.
also feel like it happened during a time when I was like actually really caring about art. And that sounds insane to say, but like when you are an artist, you kind of go through like waves and droves of like consuming the thing that you make. I feel like I've gone like years of my life only like listening to like 10 or 20 new albums and just like continually listening to the things I've always listened to, and then also listening to hours of people talk on podcasts. So it was like during a time when a lot of new music was coming out that I was like very interested in, and like friends were putting out records that I was like so excited to hear and then support. So that was really unfortunately good timing, I would say. What else did I do? I think I really just deeply leaned into the things that reminded me of her.
Yeah.
Like something like buying lottery tickets in South Carolina, like just constantly doting on all of the pets in my life because my mom was a huge animal lover. Talking to friends of hers who like I didn't really necessarily have like a relationship with, but like they knew her.
Yeah.
Like it was kind of just like me interviewing those sorts of people to her constantly, just being like, what, tell me everything that you loved about her. Tell me everything that sticks with you. What are you going to miss? Like, how did you meet? Like doing that with extended family as well. I don't know. I think I worked really hard to keep her memory. Oh my God. I worked really hard to keep her memory like viscerally alive for at least like the first 2 years after it happened. And then I kind of let it settle inside of me. And then just now I'll find myself doing something and be like, oh my God, I'm literally so my mother's son. Like I am literally her. Like it's crazy how in there it is and how deep it goes.
Yeah. But like, it's nice probably to notice
Oh,
those things.
it's my favorite thing about me. You know, it's like, it's so I'll like do something and my boyfriend is like, what the fuck? And I'm literally like, it's like you pause, like I am doing this because of who raised me, you know, like the like nature versus nurture thing. It's like I'm not an insane person. I was just raised by an insane woman who I loved dearly and who was perfect to me. So
was he there for this?
he was.
I don't know when you guys started dating.
Nikki and this is such a crazy sentence, but we like became friends during COVID. We started, we were 2 out of 12 people playing Mario Kart online 3 times a week. So that's how we met.
That's fantastic.
It's kind of like the COVID era equivalent of like meeting at a bar. But
for sure.
But yeah, so we met playing Mario Kart online in March of 2020, and then everything happened with my mom in January of 2021. And Nick was incredibly there for me. Like we had just probably confessed that we had crushes on each other like a month before all this happened. So the timing was psychotic, but in so many ways, I feel like he saw me at my absolute lowest. So like it can only go up from there.
I mean, that would be enough to send some people away.
I know.
The fact that it didn't is very good and a good sign of a good person.
Yeah, I feel very lucky to have him in my corner. And he sang on the record, which I just think is so
cute. Did he? Where?
Nick and one of his best friends, Rachel, both sang backups on More Good Angels.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And Nikki has like an incredible voice and is a much better singer than I am. But
is he aware of that? Is he one of those people?
I think he is aware of that, but I don't think he's one of those people. He's very nice about the fact that he can do what he can do, and I have whatever this is to work with.
It's so super anecdotally, but it's very funny to me that your partner's name is Nick, as is mine, and your mom's name is Karen, as is mine.
Jeremy, that is
not that those are like uncommon names, but like
but still, yeah, gay guy with a boyfriend named Nick and a mom named Karen. I'm like addicted to this. It's so funny. I had no idea.
the lore,
the parallel play.
So I also had in my notes a list. I was just like, I don't know what fever dream I was in when I made these notes, but I was like, there are other touchstone records for me that are kind of about this thing, this same idea. Like, obviously, I think most people's go-to is Carrie and Lowell from Sufjan, but there's also like Touche Amore, Stage 4.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know Lost in the Trees. You're a North Carolina boy. Do you know Lost in the Trees?
Is that a band name? I don't know
Yeah, it
that
was.
band
It
name.
was. They're defunct now, but
Okay.
they have a gorgeous record called "A Church That Fits Our Needs," which is about the main guy Ari Picker's mother getting, being lost and dealing with that. So there's a whole bunch of these that like I feel like come up every few years. I mean, is that like something that you're consciously kind of aware of as you're making a record like this, or like were you trying not to think of the canon?
It's funny. I love calling it the canon. I was trying to think. It's like, what would you even call this like trend? It's definitely like the canon of the Mother Grief album. I don't think I was thinking about it at all when I was writing it because
Yeah,
I was just experiencing
you're
it,
just
and then like
creating. Yeah,
yeah, and then when it came time to kind of like make it an album, I was just kind of like, oh, okay, like here we go again, like indie rock record about the worst thing that's ever happened to you, and it happens to be your mom dying. It's just kind of like,
yeah.
I mean, in so many ways, you're right. It is like canon. It is like a trope. There is just like thing of artists doing this, but
But you
like
know what? A
having
lot of those records are really good.
yes, exactly. And I can only
So
hope that one day people are saying that about mine. But it is just like it just rocked my fucking world.
right.
It's just like insane to deal with. And as someone who has like always used songwriting to process their thoughts and feelings, like I just couldn't imagine not writing about it because it is insane. It
Yeah,
like made me insane for years, I think. It just haunted me in a way that I was just like, no one really talks about how weird you're going to feel for so long after you experience something like this. So
yeah.
I think like an awareness of the canon is a very funny way to put it. And like, again, I can only hope that mine enters the canon one day. And
I mean, I think
yeah.
it's by default in the canon.
Okay, but yeah, but like in a way that people care about, like I want it to be like one of the pretty cannonballs in the canon and
Okay,
not
fair enough.
not one of the ones at the bottom of the pile.
Um, I mean, have specific records ever been kind of like a lifeline for you?
My gosh, yes, absolutely. I think The Con by Tegan and Sarah comes to mind immediately because
Mm,
that came out on my birthday during like a time in my life when I was really trying to figure out who I was and like
mm,
what I wanted and like
yeah.
actively kind of embracing my queer identity. So
Hmm.
that's like a record that to this day I put it on and I'm just like this is
Transported.
yeah, this is like just gonna forever be
I
that
mean,
thing for me.
I remember being obsessed with that record and all the lore around it, like all
Mhm.
those videos they put out and the
Oh my
like
gosh,
the
yes.
weird like fake interviews they did. I
Yes.
had like the bonus CD with all that stuff on it. It was
Yes,
such
the,
a
like,
time.
DVD.
Yes.
Yes,
And
where Tegan talks to you about Tosis.
oh yes, that's literally why I
Yeah,
know about Tosis.
it's literally same, but yeah, that record is just that's always gonna be
Yeah.
one that is massive for me. I think Too Bright by Perfume Genius is, like, another one that I'll always
Mm,
kind of put it on and be like, "Oh, this is such a time and place for me," like, and what I was experiencing then. Trying to think, what are, like in terms of, like, navigating, like, grief on its own, I don't think I mean, obviously, the Touche Amore reference is huge, and Carrie and Lowell is also huge.
hmm.
The Mount Erie record, I think
Oh
that was kind of like such a big
yeah.
example of someone, you know,
That's tough. That's a tough one.
yeah, I mean, absolutely, like heartbreaking doesn't even like begin to describe it,
No.
but
I mean, you're
I
worried
think
about your record like turning people off, but meanwhile, like Phil Elverum is like, yeah, I cleaned up your bloody clothes, and I'm like, oh my God.
yeah,
But
but I think
but it's such a great record.
absolutely, and I think
Yeah.
that like that really I think an awareness of the existence of things like that made
Right.
me feel like this was okay to do,
Right.
and I wasn't doing something horrible or something
Yeah. It's
like
funny because like,
repugnant.
yeah, it's funny because like Carrie and Lowell, for being so vivid and vividly about losing his mother, is so like steeped in poetry, and there's so much like evocative lines that you're like, I don't know what the hell that means. It's just
Yeah,
pretty. Whereas like A Crow Looked at Me is just like blunt force trauma.
yeah,
And I
it's
feel
those are the two paths you
yeah,
go when
really.
you make a
No,
record like
truly,
this.
truly. I feel like Phil, like he didn't, not that he did this single-handedly, but I feel like he did kind of do the thing that we were just talking about that is so like forbidden. Like,
Mhm.
he just said, no, like this is the dark shit I just had to wade through and I'm still wading through.
Yeah,
And I'm going to put this out. I remember that quote. I mean, I'm going to paraphrase here, but when it came out, he was like, these aren't even lyrics. Like, this isn't even poetry. I'm just like writing. And I remember thinking that was so interesting because when you really listen to that record, like there's not a lot of rhyming. There's not really any choruses. It's just kind of like this transmission of like from the deepest depth of grief.
Yeah.
And I feel like people like that and some of the other people we've mentioned open that door and sort of make it okay and not like weird or gauche or unacceptable to talk about these things.
Yeah, gauche is a great word for it because I don't know. It does. It's funny. I'm like, I spend the last like hour talking about like how we should not like make this taboo. And then I'm like, also at the same time, I'm just kind of like, well, the stereotype about it, like being like trauma dumpy is like, that is something you have to like also contend with. But like gauche is a good word for it because it's like, I feel like 9 times out of 10, if you're talking about it, it's because you need to get it out,
Right.
you know, whether you're aware of that or not, like yourself in doing it. Like, and I think that that's just so important. And like, I don't want anyone to ever feel like what they're doing is gauche. I don't want anyone to make me feel like what I'm doing is gauche, but like, you know, it's part of the journey of just like doing it all. And you can't be afraid to do it.
Yeah. Death is real.
Death is so fucking real.
As he says.
Death is so real.
So you've played a few shows already. Are you done with that tour opening?
No, I have one more show on the 17th in San Francisco.
Is that also with Baths?
Yeah. Okay. That's like the last of show of me supporting Baths. It's funny because the tour is like, I think on paper the tour resembles much more of a normal tour for Will. Like it's like he's playing a bunch of shows in London and Paris and Japan and stuff like that. And I'm just simply on the North American shows. So it's like,
you're like, hey,
yeah, we like meet, we play a little city, and then it's like, okay, see you in 2 days. And then in those 2 days, it's like, okay, see you in a week. Like I enjoy that it's really spread out though, because it like gives me a chance to like chill and like recenter myself. And I love to tour no matter what. Like especially like I think a van tour where you're playing like show after show after show can be taxing. And I have met friends playing music that like we meet on tour and then like 6 months later they're like, I'm never doing that again. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry that it got you. But I'm like a freak and could do either and be like fine. So
well, I mean, how have the shows gone? Because I know that they're just you and a guitar, which is not how most of the record sounds.
No, and it's definitely not how I would I think I don't think it's how I would love to introduce myself to people, but at the same time, I do think it is disarming, and I do think as someone who leads with a lot of personality in their day-to-day life, it is like a very funny way to meet an audience of people that probably would have normally never heard of me. So it's very like I keep joking that it's like a night with gay mate before Baths takes the stage, you know,
because it's so
like,
intimate.
Yeah, we're truly like 2 awkward pauses away from having like a full Q&A section during my set. Like it's very intimate. But
well, it's such an interesting pairing because like, I mean, truthfully, the record itself makes more sense opening for Baths.
Absolutely.
Like, you know, it's a little bit more energetic. There's a lot of keys and drums and stuff, but when it's just you on guitar and then you go from that to like this like weirdo electro sample heavy emo screaming Baths, like that is quite a shift.
I completely agree, and I think it's so funny, and I feel so lucky that like after the first night we made sure up front that it was like, okay, if I do this tour, just so you know, I will be playing acoustic guitar and singing. And they were like, that's fine. And I was like, okay, great. Then after the first show, I was like, okay, you haven't changed your mind. Or anything,
that was okay,
like,
right?
You're still fine with that. Yeah. Like what I just said, that was fine. And they were like, yeah. So I'm like, okay. Like sigh of relief. And I do think I had sent Will the record, and I think that they agreed to it because the record is like bleeps and bloops heavy, but obviously I'm bringing something completely different to the live experience. But I don't know. I like to think I do a good job of like hyping up the crowd and like doing my little crowd work, getting everyone like excited for the night. So I think you'd be lucky to have me open your show with just acoustic guitar.
Yeah, no, why not?
And I am I'll just say I'm so excited to start playing full band shows like that.
And that is coming.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
We have like a couple dates at the end of June supporting the Sonderbombs that we're like scheming on right now, how to make full band. I'm filling in on drums for the Sonderbombs through that whole tour. So it's like going to be a little complicated, but we're going to try to make it work. And then like regardless, like this fall is like, we're just doing any Gay Meet shows after the summer. It's just kind of like their full band because I'm so excited to do it. And for the most part, no, we haven't played any of these songs from the record live. So that's
just you.
Yeah, I have, but like the full band hasn't.
Right.
So making that transition, I'm like just very excited about because I think songs like Morbid Angels and Love for Fun are going to like bang live.
Are you someone who tries to like make your songs into jams?
Absolutely not. I don't think I've jammed since I was like 16 and I'm 35 now.
So your like 2.5 minute song is not going to become 12 minutes.
Absolutely never.
Fair
like,
enough.
My friend Taylor, who plays drums in Gay Meet Live, like more often than anyone else does, he and I have been making music since I was 15. He like played drums on the record. He's always kind of like, what if we did like a block party sort of like instrumental intro to the song? And I'm like, no. We're just playing it normal. We're doing it normal.
Yeah, I know. That's funny. So aside from this record and the shows and everything related to this record, I've been trying and forgetting. I've been trying to end by asking what you're excited about these days.
Oh my God, what am I excited about?
Just because everything fucking sucks right now.
So
true. I feel like I want to know what's exciting you right now.
What's exciting me? I think the prospect of a woman winning season 50 of Survivor is very exciting to me. It's
great.
Currently giving Boys Club down, but I'm not giving up. Like, I'm not giving up hope. But...
As someone who doesn't watch, when's the last time that happened?
A woman?
Yeah.
Who won 40? I'm like, after season ends, it's like wiped from my brain.
Yeah, and there's like 3,000 seasons.
I know.
Well, technically, there's 50. I know because it's in the name of the show. Never mind.
I love there's 3,000. It's like, well, actually,
we actually know there's 50. Yeah,
it's in the name.
But like, is that uncommon for a woman to?
No,
win?
It's actually. I feel like it's probably a pretty even split technically.
You're just rooting for it.
Yeah, with this cast specifically of all being like returnees, there are some women that I'm just like, I'm obsessed with you, and I need you to go far and hopefully win. Namely Tiff, who competed on, I think, 46. A woman won her season, a woman named Kenzie, and they were like a cute duo for a lot of it. But a clip just went insanely viral like a week or two ago of Tiff like unwrapping a bag like that was tied with rope. And she's like doing it in a way that I'm like, I've never even seen someone like do physics like that, you know, like to take material and do what she's doing with it. I'm like, I'm obsessed with you. Like you're smart, you're funny, you're creative, and you could do that. I'm like addicted to you.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So that's exciting you right now.
That's unfortunately earnestly exciting.
No, I don't think that's unfortunate at all.
Okay.
I think that's great. All right. Well, let's say again, the debut Gay Meet record, Blue Water, is out April 24th. Maybe if you're listening to this, April 24th has just passed, so go listen to it. You can do the math for yourself on Skeletal Lighting. Thank you so much, Karl.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Jeremy. This was psychotically fun.
I know. I'm very happy we got to do this.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Thanks
Enjoy
for
your
coming
evening,
on.
Diva.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.